Anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and hit record on this because we do have so many that are out of pocket this morning, and I don't want you guys to miss what Val has to say. We had a quick call last week, and I just want to brag up Val a little bit here as I did in the when I introduced what we were doing today. But just having a phenomenal year, you guys, like in every possible metric. Again, whether it's in Success Club points, in all of the elite categories, trending really well. Her volume has stayed solid, income has stayed solid. And one of the most amazing, things to talk about is that she hasn't reinvented the wheel. It's been really, really consistent in a lot of different, areas. Anyway, I was really fascinated in talking to her. And so I asked her if you would just kind of, briefly kind of recap what has helped her to keep her momentum during this year when things have traditionally been, a little bit harder this year. And in the midst of, her pregnancy and everything else, like really kept, strong momentum in her business. So she was happy to do that. And so I asked her to maybe just share for 5, 6, 7 minutes or so, what her, business approach looks like. And then we will put her on the hot seat where you guys can just fire questions at her, and we'll just do some Q&A and we'll call it good. So anyway, Val, I'm going to turn the time over to you. Very pretty necklace. You still got the best, pregnant lady tan going on in,
Helps with that pool, man. It helps with that pool.
Man, looking good for what? Is this like 37 weeks for you this week?
36. We're rolling into 36.
Oh my gosh.
Time.
Coming.
She's going to be ready whenever she's ready, right?
Yeah, that is traditionally the way it works. Yes. But good for you. Good for you. You're hanging in like a champ. All right, well, cool. I'm turn the time over to you to just talk, and then we'll fire some questions at you.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Thanks, Val. Go ahead.
No problem. So, honestly, guys, like I was telling Craig, like for me, last year totally sucked for all of us, I think. And I was like, man, what was I doing last year that I kind of just need to switch up, But last year I kind of felt like I really was trying to just reinvent that wheel, and should I be focusing on challengers or coach signups or what? So it was just really the beginning of this year. I wiped my slate completely clean, and I just said, I'm going to do what makes me happy with my business, which is just posting on, honestly, my business comes from my personal Facebook page, most of it, still to this day. I enjoy that platform the most. And I was just like, I like to present the business. I came into this for the business opportunity, and I had already had a love of the products and the programs from years past, but I never knew anything about the business. So when Craig was talking to me on Wednesday, he was like, well, what do you think is working? I am not overthinking anything. I decided to start to use like different filters for my Facebook, because I was hearing like from my team, well, my traction's not good and no one's messaging me, and like all these excuses. And I'm like, well, I'm going to lead from the front. I'm going to show you that just by continuing to be consistent, but tweaking a little bit, asking your audience what it is that they want to see, what can really ultimately change in your business. So that's just kind of what I set out to do. I still to this day pretty much lead with the business. That was one question that Craig had asked me. Well, do you talk more about challenge groups or do you talk more about business? I do both. My initial invite, so this is like what I do in a day, and I actually just got done doing this. On Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays or Sundays, depending on the day, I go back through all of my social media posts for whatever the last 2-3 days, and I look at all of my likes and I look at the comments that I have gotten. And typically there is like new people who are liking or commenting on those posts. So I just write their names down in a notebook. So then on Mondays, I have like typically anywhere between 20 to 35 new people who have liked my social media posts. And I just send them a message. And my message says, hey, thanks so much for the love on my post. I really appreciate it. Have you ever thought about doing what I do? Or if it was like a specific if it was a specific challenge group post, I'll say, hey, are you interested in joining my September, challenge or online fit group, I think is what I call it. Or are you interested in learning about the business? So I'll direct it depending on which post I liked. And that's my invite every single time. And I don't invite every single day, but it is like we'll say every 3 days that I'll send those mass invites out. And that's what I've done ultimately since January, and that's what's working for me. And my goals have not changed. I have not seen a plummet of recruiting coaches. I set my goal at between 10 and 15 new coaches a month, because I always set the bar higher too. And that's just my own personal goal, because I'm like, okay, if I were to say, oh, I'm going to recruit 5 coaches a month, for me personally, I typically would get like three out of that 5, because I find myself kind of slacking off towards the end of the month, like, oh, 3's good. But if I set it at 10 to 15, then I'm pushing, and then ultimately 8 is a great number for me, but I typically do hit that 8 to 10 mark. And it's just from my social media, that attraction marketing. And then it really hit me hard when Shalene was talking at Summit, like about that creating curiosity. And I've noticed even more of a shift since I stopped posting about Quarter Force, 21-day fix, like, just naming the programs. I stopped all of that. And I'm just creating the curiosity of what it is that I'm doing. So ultimately, that is it. I have not lost momentum because I stopped overthinking completely. And then my coaches, so this year I actually have my 2017 coaches are doing the work, because I set the expectation before they even sign up. I'm like, before you sign up with me, you have to know that you have to hit what we call Success Club. And that's 3 people a month with the challenge pack. And the challenge pack is exactly what I'm setting you up with. Because no matter what, if they're joining for the business or they're joining for a challenge group, if they're signing up as a coach, they're going into my challenge group, because that's what we do for our job. Or if they're a challenger, then I'll really work with them for 2, 3, 4 weeks. And then I'll present the business to them either for the first time or again in a way that, hey, you just got amazing results, or you're falling in love, or you're doing amazing in the challenge group. Coaching is just an extension of our challenge groups. You'd be amazing at it, because I just get them excited when they say, yeah, I want to know more about it. I put them into a sneak peek group, and it's a 1 day just kind of sharing stories. My team and I will go in and share stories. And that's what gets them excited. I don't have like, here's what coaching is, here's how much we make, here's how, what you have to do, here's social media. I don't really explain it. I just get them excited to do what I do, and they sign up, and then they're like, heck yeah, I'll invite people to join our challenge group. So I typically have anywhere between 6 and 12 2017 coaches hitting Success Club this year, which is a lot for me, because last year I was like lucky if I was getting 4 people to hit Success Club. So that's it. I don't know. Craig, anything else that I said last week that I missed?
No, I think you covered it. Again, what I like is that it's precise, that it's simple, and then I like you just kind of like tweaked around the edges in terms of using, Shalene's, recommendations on creating curiosity and taking out the stuff that people can Google, and just really focus on creating fun content, engaging content that people respond to. Then I also think that you told me, like how many people do you try to add? I know, again, this might be elementary, but I just think it starts at the top of the funnel. How many new people are you adding to your social media?
At least 10 a day. So I still
go. That's a goal that you have. I'm going to add 10 new followers per day.
Yeah. So I still go through like the people you may know, or I'm totally, if they look cute, if they look like me, then I'll send them an ad. Like I click add friend. If they are totally not like, it sounds horrible. If they're not cute, I'm not sending them a Facebook ad friend request. But if they look like me, or I see that they have kids or something like that, I'm like, heck yeah, she looks like my people, because I know who I have my avatar, right? Like, so we have to talk to our specific person, our avatar for this business. So I pick the girls who are like me.
That's business. Good for you.
You
But
know,
look,
I
marketing
love the
101.
honesty, Val. Like, that's just, I love the honesty. I think
sorry, I'm so mean. I'm like, if she's an uggo, I'm not going to invite. I'm like, I say all that to my team. And they're like, oh my gosh. I'm like, well, it's the truth. Like, I don't know. And I'm not.
we were having this really honest conversation with my leaders the other day, and one of my gals is super cute, and all of her coaches are nice, but they're like, I'm like, how is this your tribe? Like, these people do not look anything like you. And we're being really candid, but it was like, where are your like really cute friends? Like, where are all your pretty friends? And it was like a joke, but there's a level of truth to it too, you know, like I don't know. Anyway, I was laughing because we were having like this, like, please don't record this conversation because it's so terrible, but I think there's a truth to it.
It's a bit business, right?
I think it's a confidence thing too. So I feel like a lot of my coaches, or even for me, because if I look back at my like first year coaches, I wasn't really that confident. So I would almost purposely pick out people who I had to help. You know, does that make sense? Who were like at the bottom of the barrel, like so rock bottom that I just felt this need to lift them up. And then they were such energy suckers that it almost like burned me out in that in a sense, because I'm like, oh my gosh, I really can't help people unless they want to help themselves. So this year I've been focused more on like me, like, oh, you got it together. You want to be home with your kids. Like, you want to do this. Yes. I don't want you to be so full of anxiety, and I suffer from anxiety. So, but the fact of, if you're ready to change that, I want to work with you. If you just want someone who's here to motivate you, I'm not your girl. Like, I can't just be your motivation. You have to get out of your comfort zone and help yourself, like I did 4 years ago. So it's kind of what I've been putting out there. And you know, your vibe attracts your tribe, right?
Yeah, well put. I mean, one of the things that again, I think is interesting about what you've done, Val, and again, I don't know that we as a company ever like intentionally meant to, you know, like swing the pendulum so far, but I know that we did a little bit, you know, as we introduced the vital process of leadership, and we talked a lot about, you know, getting back to customers and helping customers and converting them to coaches, and you know, in the process of that communication, I think again we maybe swung a little bit too far, you know, that way. But I love the fact that you just continued to use the coaching opportunity that attracted you. It's what got you interested. You stayed true to that, and I think that's an important element in terms of seeing how many people you've been able to attract, how many people are signing as coaches. You know, again, creating an SC base of people like actually producing, that has been, again, a little bit of a harder piece for our business over the last several months is getting SC duplication. So when you go right at it, you know, you say, hey, have you ever considered doing what I do? I mean, like right from the get-go, that's part of the attraction that you throw at people, is just talking about coaching. Will you go into maybe a little more depth on that?
Yeah. So the reason why I say, have you ever considered doing what I do? That's kind of my feel out, because I want to see how their response is. If they're like, yes, I really need to get into shape, or yes, I really want to be able to be at home with my kid, or I hate my job or something. It's typically, if it's a yes, then it's either a fitness or the business. It's almost like they separate it. So I know which route to take with the conversation. So that's why I just ask that question. And you know, some people, of course, are like, no, I do not want to do what you do. Like, not at all. I liked your picture because your daughter's hair was cute or something like that. So
That's fine, but now you know.
Now I know.
Yeah. So what do you do with those people that say, yeah, it actually looks really interesting, or, you know, hey, tell me more? What do you do with them?
For the business?
Yeah, when you throw out that question, hey, have you ever considered doing what I do? Or, you know, or would you seems like you're awesome at coaching and their interest is piqued. Where do you send them?
I'm actually going to read you. I literally just sent this right before I got on the call, because I had somebody message me back, and she was like, hey, I'd really like to stay at home with my kids. Like, I saw your post last night because I did a mompreneur. This is the life of a mompreneur really looks like. It was me and Maddie in a picture. So I wrote her back after I had originally said, good morning. I would love to chat with you about coaching. I was really scared too, and I was a skeptic at first. So I completely get it because she had written that in her little write-up. And then I said, I actually have a private Facebook group that explains it all. Can I add you into it? You can check it out. I'll explain what to do step by step, and then we can talk more about getting you signed up. That's it. For every single person. I put them into my little sneak peek group where in there I have a little photo albums, and I actually got this idea from Jen Richardson like a few months ago. She had a really great idea, just putting like photo albums with this small descriptions of what we do as coaches. But then I have videos, live videos of me like talking about what my story is, a couple of my coaches, and I try to have like an Emerald coach share their story of kind of like what made them decide to join the business, how many hours they work a week or something, and why they love it. Then I have a Diamond coach, a Star Diamond, and then typically it's me who's 4 years in sharing my story. So that way people in that group, or myself and my team adding in there, they can see the progression. Oh, hey, this chick, she signed up, she's been working the business for 2 or 3 months. She does it in 30 to 45 minutes a day, makes $500 a month or whatever it is. That's really cool. I want to do that. But look what can happen if I keep that consistency going. I could be like this. So they kind of get different levels of inspiration, and that's it. I stick them in there, and most of them come back to me before I can even follow up, and they're like, this looks amazing. I want to do it. That's it.
Awesome. Love it. Well, hey, you guys, I'd like to open it up for questions. I know there's been a couple in the chat, but let's put Val on the hot seat here. Just ask away. Anyone want to go first?
I just want to thank you. It's so similar to what I do, and it's so just simple, and I love hearing things that aren't like overwhelming to me and making me feel like, oh my gosh, I've got to like recreate a whole new wheel and just overhaul everything. It's like, and I think that's why you're successful in duplicating it, because it's so duplicatable, and
I agree.
That's always my message to my team too, is like, and I don't ever want to get to the point where I'm not doing the simple things, because I think then it's really hard to pass that on. And I'll just share this because I don't have a question, but yet. Last week I got back to my one-on-one calls with anybody that wants to run. And I did this a lot from the beginning, and I did this last year, and it's the school year, so I actually have more time, thank the Lord. And so I started scheduling just 15-minute one-on-one calls. I sent that out on a group text so they all realized the call was only 15 minutes. So like when I got them on the call, like I didn't mean to do that on purpose, but they all knew it was a short call. So they were like, asking me all these questions. And what happened was then when my team call rolled around on Thursday morning and I had 5 one-on-ones the day before, I had like so much I wanted to share because I felt like I was right there in the trenches with these new coaches, versus like when I'm not talking to my new coaches that much, I'll get on my team call and like try to think about where they're at and what I need to share. And just being right there with them was huge. I just felt like last week my whole team just was like motivated and hungry and running, and it was really good. So
I love that because you know what, I've gotten away from that, so I need to get back to doing that because I think that's such a key point.
Well, and the thing that I also told them, because I realized some people can drag those one-on-one calls on for like 3 months and then they're not even hitting Success Club, and then I got to be like a total bitch and be like, can't do this anymore. So I said, hey guys, for the next couple weeks, I want to do these one-on-one calls. So they're also anticipating it as like a short-term thing. And then if they're really running and they're doing the work, I'll continue those one-on-one calls indefinitely, but it allows me to like stop the one-on-one calls that aren't progressing and really fill those gaps with other new coaches that need those one-on-one spots.
Awesome.
Great point. Dara, I just wanted to make sure that you heard what Moira just explained. I was talking to Dara last week and she's like, I need to figure out how to do work with my runners and fit in these calls. And then Moira brings it up. So I hope you got that, Dara. If you didn't, then we can recap it later. But
I did. Phone calls are just tough for me. Like after 8, I'm just done. Like only one of my kids is in school full time. So I'm just done with 3 little ones at home. So that's all. It's just, I do have a hard time scheduling them, but Craig, you really freed me. You're like, open up 3 slots a week, and I can gear up for one call at 8 p.m., a few nights a week for 15 minutes. I like, I think I like setting that expectation of time too, Mara, because, some coaches, you'd be on a call 45 minutes and it's great and you love it, but then you're like, dang, can't do that all the time. So that's all. So.
Well, I like how you put out the schedule though to the group, Moira, so that they see, they see that, oh, okay, hey, these are the calls and they're 15-minute slots or however, long. But I thought that was a great nuance there. Okay, other questions?
I was going to add, when I do the speed dating kind of thing for one-on-one coaches, and I use Calendly. Like I pay for it, it's like a $10 a month, but you can set up your time slots, and you can even set it so that you don't do so many more in a day, because I do 20-minute slots, and it'll even say like no more than 4 and 2 hours. You can, and then you can put in like a little worksheet. So I give them little questions they have to answer, even just like what is their program, what's their PD, what's one thing going well, what are some questions, so that we have some direction, and they have to do a little bit of work before we chat. And then they see on the Calendly page, it's just a link that they can go to my calendar and see what's open and not. And then I do it via Zoom, so that they get an email reminder with the Zoom link, and they'll go right there. And when they pop in on one another, because they're usually, kind of back to back, so then they pop right in and they don't have to, that ends the conversation. So we'll kind of overlap for a minute, say hi, one enters, one exits. And it's easier for me because I'm too much of an ADD squirrel, like monkey brain. I can't be on the phone. I just get too distracted. But Zoom, I can focus a little bit more, and then screen share, do what I need to. But Calendly has been really helpful. And every time I get my charge come through, every $10, and I realize I didn't do speed dating that month, I'm like, I'm wasting this. I need to get back on those one-on-ones.
I love the idea of Zoom, because every single phone call, one of my coaches calls and I don't click over, and then I have to hang up, and then I have to call them back. So that's huge. Thank you for that tip. I'm going to put that in.
Cool. Well, hey, any other thoughts or hot topics, things that you want to ask the group, or questions for Val?
How long, Val, would you say, when you add like a prospect to that self-paced sneak peek group, how long would you say overall it would take them to go through all the information if they wanted to touch on everything you have for them?
Not even 30 minutes, because I have my coaches keep their story, like their live videos, to like 3 to 4 minutes. And I do that intentionally because I know, again, last year I was still trying to send people my 45-minute long business opportunity call. And then I would say, okay, now here's this document that explains our compensation plan, all that. That's why. I'm like, I wouldn't want that. So I really kind of like took that step back, and I'm like, who am I? What did I want whenever I came in? All that I wanted was to know that this was real and that you could really earn money, like that it wasn't just some scam. And once I found that out, and that I really could just talk to people about loving the fitness programs, because I knew that I loved the fitness programs. So I just kind of dumbed it down, and I stopped. Anytime that I get into that kind of like that, I'll say negative mindset, like I cannot be one of those people who are complaining, oh, well, I know volume isn't awesome right now. I know that, people are questioning, people come and go. Like, I can't surround myself with any of that kind of talk, or else I find myself starting to, talk about that and focus on that. My focus is literally, I am so beyond grateful and thankful for this company and this business, because I would never be where I'm at now if it weren't for, joining 4 years ago. And no matter if my paycheck is $40 or, $40,000 or whatever, that is a blessing to me and my family. So as long as I keep my own self in check, then my business thrives, because I feel like I'm putting that focus in the right place, and I totally give it to God. And I'm just like, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to enjoy it. Because if I'm not enjoying it, and you guys know, if you feel like this is work, what happens? It sucks the life out of you, right? So whenever I'm having fun, then I feel like I just want to come to my computer. I want to help people. And if I'm not having fun, then I'm like, oh, I don't want to do this.
I love that. I had a question, one more quick question. Do you also do the same thing with challenger prospects? I think I missed that. Do you have a sneak peek for challengers you put them into, or just coaches?
I don't, but that is a good idea. And I know people who do that. And I know that it would work really well. I just haven't, because my Success Club numbers this month are, I typically get between Success Club 20 and 30 from what I'm doing. And I mean, that's good enough for me. I know that I could do more. If I would do that, I could do more. But right now, I really have my work days down to working like ultimately between 3 and 5 hours, Monday through Friday, I would say, a day. And that's including my workout. So it's kind of nice to say, man, I love what I do, and I'm working like 30 hours a week.
Really good stuff, Val. And I appreciate kind of that last comment you made that was, that helped keep us in check about, who we are and what we're doing. And when we stay in that positive frame of mind and that, again, keeping the most important thing, like the business success follows. I will, I will often tell the kind of those coaches that are coming up that are trying to decide, do I dive in full time or how to do this? It's like, if you want to go full time, or if you want to, back off of your other job or whatever, like, okay, but just keep approaching the business with the same enthusiasm and joy that you always have. And because you can't work this business with your butt cheeks clenched. That's
right.
That's the as soon as you start like forcing, yourself into it with this, then it becomes, then it, you don't attract as many people in the right way. And so I guess the last question I would have for you along those lines is, are there any tips that you give to your team members that you have found effective in creating that, fun, curiosity piquing content? Because I think we can all agree, like, a lot of you guys are really good at at social media. You've gotten good, you have some natural talent, and then you've worked to make the content you put out there engaging. How do you teach, I guess, or what recommendations or advice do you give to your new coaches that maybe don't know how to create lots of fun, engaging,
I think that's the biggest
content? Is that the magic lever right there? That
yeah, I really do, because I always say that you either want it or you don't. My posts were horrible, and I always do take it back. And what has really helped and worked for me in showing them kind of like what sucks and what doesn't is I do have like some Google documents of like good versus bad social media posts and stuff. But I don't know if you guys use the On This Day little tab that pops up on your cell phone or on Facebook. I use that because it really was 4 years ago. It's like the best thing ever. I look back and I'm like, how am I where I'm at now? Because my posts were so beyond horrible 4 and even 3 years ago, but I was consistent. So I try to tell them, I'm like, here, and I'll take screenshots almost daily, and I'll use those in my documents or putting them into my team page. I'm like, hey guys, here was my awful post 4 years ago, but I didn't give up and I kept going. And they see that I still posted 3 to 5 times a day, even back then. So being relatable, they can see me as relatable because most of them didn't know me 4 years ago. So for me, it's kind of showing them examples of who I was then and how far I've come. And then I also say, if you want to be seen, you have to stand out of amongst the crowd. Are you just fitting in? Are you posting only fitness and food pictures? I tell my coaches right off the bat, I'm like, I don't want to see your sweaty selfies. I was like, if I see your sweaty selfies, that's kind of you telling me that you don't want to work the business. I was like, because I don't want to see that every single post, I guess I should say. I tell them once a day, fitness, once a day, fun, whatever they're doing. Like if they're a mom, post with their kids. And then I tell them once a day, something else that's about them. And I kind of guide them through my team pages on, hey, okay, I want to see more of this. And I don't know, that's kind of what works for me. I give them my little apps that I use for my filters and stuff. And again, my tribe, they do exactly what I tell them to do. And then the other ones kind of just make excuses and keep only posting their red-faced, sweaty selfies every post. And I'm just like,
hope that somebody is curious about that.
And hey, day 4 of T25, I'm like, that worked for us 2-3 years ago, but now people are over that and nobody wants to see your sweat dripping off of your face. Like, filter yourself. So that's what I do. I just give them examples.
Nice. Any other thoughts on that, you guys, like how you help or advice that you give to your coaches to create that fun, engaging, curiosity-piquing content?
Yeah, I just read Jamie. She's like, or the Snapchat filters that are hideously ugly. I'm like, I do not want to see your Snapchat filters on Facebook or Instagram. Like, keep it on Snapchat where people can voluntarily go watch your snaps. Like, I don't want to see it.
Nice. Good deal. Well, hey, thank you, Val, for coming on and sharing and, again, helping remind us to keep things simple and to keep that positive attitude and be persistent with it. And just appreciate you sharing, appreciate you answering the questions. Thanks to everyone who was on today and your engagement. Have an awesome last week of August, you guys. The best month of the entire year is quickly coming to an end. So make
And it's Greg's birthday tomorrow.
This is true.
Your birthday.
It's my birthday today. We're a day apart, Craig. I didn't understand.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, I expect some really creative, engaging, curiosity-piquing posts about my birthday tomorrow that really drive your business forward. I will do anything you guys need.
It's your birthday.
Craig's birthday tomorrow.
Oh, Craig, happy birthday.
Good job, Jamie. Thank you.
You guys boomerang for me really fast. Just like wiggle your body around or something. On 1, 2, 3, go. Perfect.
That
It worked.
That could be the dumbest thing I've ever done.
Craig, why is August the best month?
Because it's my birthday month, Dara. It's also my wife's birthday month and my daughter's birthday month.
It's
So,
a good month.
yeah.
Go Virgos. Go Virgos.
Yeah. So anyway, you guys, well, hey, thank you so much. Let's keep pushing, make this thing happen. And again, just thank you for everything that you guys do to make this company wonderful. Hey there, buddy.
Bye-bye.
Look like you're having a good lunch. Awesome.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Take care, you guys. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.